We're continuing this series of videos making tutorials on everything related to brokers. This time we're talking about eToro. We already made a video on how to register, and now we're in a video about how to buy stocks on eToro. So, first of all, if you are just starting to invest, you have not deposited or even created an account, remember that I have left you a link in the description, in case you want to create it. Secondly, before you start depositing your real money, I recommend that you come here, where it says switch to virtual at the bottom. That's where it says switch to virtual portfolio. What this is going to do is give you a portfolio of $100,000. In this case, I have it at $78,000 because I've been testing and changing this. But basically, for you to be able to invest directly, what you need to do is, let's say it's the same in the virtual portfolio as in the real portfolio. Only the virtual portfolio is fictitious money that we do not have, but the functions and everything else will be the same. So, to start investing, you must already know what you are going to invest in. So, you're going to go to where? It says Discover, and here you'll see all the options, where we can buy within eToro. So stocks, cryptocurrencies, indices, commodities, currencies, ETFs, copy, trader, smart portfolios, NFTs. And, well, in these three options here, or rather, these two here of copy trader and smart portfolios, I think we are going to make a specific video for those later. If you have any questions about Toro or want me to make a specific tutorial, leave it in the description or in the comments. In other words, this way I can know what content you want me to create about this platform. So once you're here, you're going to look for the stock you want to invest in. For example, you come here to the stock section and let's say you want to invest in Tesla. So you just click on it. And here we can already see the entire interface to be able to invest there. If you can't find it, you can search at the top using the ticker. The ticker is basically the code that the stock has on the exchange where it's offered. So in this case, Tesla is under Tesla. As you can see, I search for Tesla like this and it shows up here. That is to say, without the. And then I click on invest, and it takes me to the same investment point. Alright, when we're here, we find different sections. First, a summary of all the information we have within eToro, which is basically a rundown of all these options here. For example, the chart we have over here. Then, we have the analyst section here, which is the analyst forecast, and in this case, it's a hold, meaning don't buy or sell. But remember that this is not necessarily always correct. This could be true, or it could not be. There are stocks or ETFs that say sell everything here, because this is going to collapse. It turns out that you leave it, and after a while, the ETF goes up 10-fold or 20-fold. So, really, this is something for you to keep in mind, study it, use it as a starting point, but don't let it guide you. 100% of this. Then there are the ESG criteria, to see if this company or this stock meets those criteria. Criteria and what percentage. And then here, if we go down a little more, we can configure price alerts. And if we don't want to invest, for example, at 262, but rather at 250. So here we can set that when the stock drops by a certain percentage, we will receive a notification so we can enter and invest in this stock. Then we have the news section, company or stock information, and up here, we have a very interesting section, which is the topic of the company's finances so that you can specifically see the capitalization, the daily range, the 52-week range over here, a financial summary of the margin the company is having, the operating margin, and several other things over here. Once you study this, then we can go ahead and invest, and we're going to click on this big button that says invest. This time we're going to see how to buy stocks on eToro, but we won't be looking at how to short sell or how to buy short to put it better. We're going to cover this in another video. So, here in the buying section, we have several options. The first one is right here, within the amount you can set. It's setting it by the amount of money. How much are you going to invest? For example, you can put in $200 and this means you will buy 0.76 shares. That means you're going to buy fractional shares. In other words, you're not going to buy a whole share. To be able to buy whole shares, what you can do is click down here, where these two little arrows are, kind of moving towards each other. You click there. And what you're doing now is that you're not selecting by amount. You're not saying, I have $200 I want to invest. Instead, I want 5 shares. Thus, if I want 5 whole shares, I have to pay $1,314, $1,315. And if I scroll down here and put, for example, $4.50, then I'm buying 4.5 shares, a fractional share, cut in half. And there, let's say I chose this and I'm going to buy it. Let's say I chose 5. Next, we have the stop loss. The stop loss is simply an order in which what you can do is buy this stock. And what happens is that if I buy these 5 shares at $1,314, it performs poorly and the value of my 5 shares reaches $1,200. I don't have to keep an eye on it to see when it hits $1,200. Instead, what I can do is set a stop loss so that when it reaches $1,200, the trade automatically closes. That means you'd only lose about $113, $114. At this moment, it closes there, and I can set it up. And what I do is I don't have to keep an eye on whether the stock goes up or down. No. Instead, if I end up losing that amount of money, meaning if this stock hits this price over here, my position closes automatically. I automatically sell my position. Then there's leverage. We're not going to explain it in detail because honestly, I feel like we shouldn't because it's something that I don't like it, but we could make a specific video about this. Basically, it's like, so to speak, going into debt to invest more, and this. Just as we win much more, we lose much more, so leverage is not something I recommend. We're leaving it at 1, which means we're not going to have leverage. We're not going to be borrowing, so to speak, but we're investing with our own money. Then we have the take profit section, which is the same as the stop loss, but the other way around. So this is to not have to keep track of how much we've earned, but rather to set a goal for ourselves. So if we want this stock to reach $1,500, I set it at $1,500. I'm going to establish that. So what happens? Right now, by buying 5 shares, I have a value of $1,315.45. What happens if these stocks appreciate more and this amount reaches $1,500? That the bull will close the operation when I am winning. I mean, when my shares reach $1,500. This is positive for those aiming for a point, as it may hit $1,500 and drop. Many prefer not to set a take profit, saying, I'll sell it myself. I decide when. I don't need that, and leave it. So then we find the name of the stock we're investing in to confirm that we are indeed investing in it. And then we have the type of order. We have the market order and the limit order. A market order means we're buying at the price that this stock is currently trading at. But it turns out that maybe I want to place a limit order, meaning I want to set my own price. I don't want to pay $263.08. I want to pay $260. Well, if I put $260, the order will not be executed at once, but what will happen is that I have to wait for the price to reach that amount of money for the order to be executed. If it never gets there, and no one is willing to sell at that price, then I won't be able to buy those shares. So the order is going to stay pending. So, well, I prefer to leave it as a market order. And also remember that depending on the exchange you are investing in, there is a schedule. So, if you are investing on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange or in New York, there is a different schedule. In order to execute these actions, you must invest during the hours in which the stock market is open, because otherwise the operation will remain pending until the opening of the following day. And it may be that today I am investing at $262.86 and I am willing to pay that. But it turns out that tomorrow, when the stock market opens directly, this stock is already at $250. So I'm offering more than what I am really going to pay if I put it in this case in limit order. But if I leave it in market order, then I am going to pay whatever it is at that moment, then the amount of available money that we have. Remember that this is the virtual available portfolio that we have, and then we have the estimated costs, which is the $1 commission by eToro that is charging us at this moment for investing in shares. So as we see there, we have this amount, and when we confirm that everything is in order, and if we agree with everything, then we hit buy, and it already says order received here, and it says order completed. It was accomplished so quickly because the market is open at the moment when I am speaking and recording this video. I come here to the portfolio. Look, the stock that I bought will appear here. The number of units will appear. The average price at which I bought will appear. Profits, losses at this moment that we are positive. Exactly, we just bought and the stock is doing well, so we're going to leave it there. Then we look at the gains and losses in terms of percentage, meaning we've made a 0.13% profit. And then we see the current value of our stock or investment at this moment. And this is how we invest. If we want to buy something else, we just hit invest again. We don't have to close and reopen a position. We just hit invest and put in the number of shares we want.